special guest with me, Eleanor Roosevelt.
Please, just Eleanor is fine.
Well, Eleanor, welcome to the fine state of Iowa. I know it's no Washington, D.C.
It's no Big Apple either.
That's right. You grew up in New York, correct?
Until I was 15. Then I traveled across the pond to continue my studies.
Wow, all the way to London?
Yes, to Allenswood.
And then...
And then time flew by, and before I knew it, I was becoming Mrs. Roosevelt.
I know you probably don't share this very often, but isn't Franklin Roosevelt your fifth cousin?
I prefer not to answer that query.
Okay then. I imagine getting a new job is a huge shift for any normal person. Going from one small job or to another small town. I can't even imagine what it was like making the big shift to the White House.
Yes, absolutely. I made sure to inform the nation that they should not expect their new First Lady to be a symbol of elegance, but rather plain, ordinary Mrs. Roosevelt.
Which, the idea of a plain, ordinary Mrs. Roosevelt did not last long, did it?
Correct. Not long at all. I guess you could say I really began to step out of the normal First Lady role when I called for my first press conference.
And you were the first ever First Lady to hold a press conference, correct?
Yes, I also only allowed female members of the press within the conference as well, attempting to give equal time to women.
Talk to me a little bit about DAR.
DAR is the Daughters of the American Revolution. For a long time, I was a member of this organization until Marian Anderson came along.
And who was Marian Anderson?
She was an African-American singer who wished to perform in the DAR auditorium, to which the DAR refused. When they denied her this request, I decided to resign my membership.
And what happened after that?
Well, I helped her organize that concert, of course. It was held at the Lincoln Memorial. Over 75,000 people attended.
Wow, so you really supported the artists of the world. You've been a large supporter of women in stereotypical male occupations as well, correct?
Absolutely. I believe a woman can hold a political position just as well or even better than her male counterpart. I also support the rights of working class women.
Would you say that you were the first suffragist in the Roosevelt family?
I would have to say no. That title would actually go to my husband. I realized that if my husband were a suffragist, I probably should be too.
Going back to the beginning of your dedication to the women's rights movement, when was it that you fully immersed yourself into this rising issue?
I would say probably the 1920s. Soon after I moved back to New York, I joined the New York State League of Women Voters and became a board member.
What happened there?
Well, it opened my eyes to many new opportunities and organizations, such as the League of Women Voters, the Women's Trade Union League, the Women's Division of the New York State Democratic Committee, and the Women's City Club.
And all that work happened before or even while your husband was in office, correct?
Yes.
What happened after he passed?
Well, I ended up serving as a chair of the Human Rights Commission. I collaborated and worked on a draft of Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It was later adopted by the General Assembly.
Wow, what haven't you done? Any other fun or interesting things you want to tell us about?
Well, family was always a top priority of mine, and in 1950, my son Elliot and I worked together to create a talk show that many famous guests were on, such as Albert Einstein and the Duke and Duchess of Windsor.
That is amazing. And so are you, First Lady Eleanor.